In this video, I'm going to be cutting out somewhat of a template for the filter build. It's a template that I'm going to be using to mark the center of the disc. So what I want to do is I want to cut out a square, and I want it to be 20 inches by 20 inches, and I want to just have a dead center hole. So something real simple is all I really need. But, you know, for fun, I'm going to go ahead and do something a lot more fun. I'm going to be cutting out a really nice relief paisley pattern inside of the material in the center of the hole that I want. Then once I'm done, I'll be able to take that piece of wood, place it on top of this board, and drill a hole, or actually mark in the center with a pencil. Once I have a hole in the center, then I'll be able to line this cutter up with the center hole, and I'll know that that's the dead center of the disc, and then I can cut the disc out from the dead center, because I'm not going to be cutting from the edge. I'm always going to be cutting from the center of the part. So we're going to get started on that. The first thing we're going to do is we need to tell this machine where this wood is. So the first thing we do is we have this little piece of metal, and I'm going to place it underneath here. And when this touches the cutter, it will tell the machine that's where the wood is. It'll say it's 2 inches above here. I'm just going to come over to the machine. First, I'm going to double check. Yeah, I'm double checking to make sure that the machine sees this. And then we're going to go over to the machine and we're going to tell it to auto, reset first, auto tool 0. And if anything happens, I'll hit the emergency button, which it won't. Just like that. There we go. So now the machine knows where 0 is. So that's the end of that. So the next thing I need to do is I need to tell the machine where the center of the part's going to be. So this is the reason why I'm making this. Because right now I don't know where the center of the part is. But I know it's 10 inches in and 10 inches back. So we're going to get a ruler and we're going to just mark that point. So I'm going to get my glasses actually, because I do really have a hard time seeing. And I'm going to go back just a little bit further than 10 inches. I'm going to go from here. I have 11 inches. I'm going to do 10 and a half inches. Something like that. And 10 and a half inches here. Now I have a mark on the table, and I'm going to bring this cutter over to that mark. And, you know, for some reason I think the machine's ready to go. I should be able to just do that. I'm going to come down. Scooch it over a little bit. Shit, I'm getting carried away. Okay. That looks like it's very close to the line. Now I'm going to zero out the X and the Y, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this back up again. I already know, actually it knows where 0 is, so now I can just put this cutter, put this on, this I'll shoot, which isn't really effective, because it's too high. Oh well, we'll worry about that another time. And now I'm going to load the G-code, so we'll go over to load G-code. I'll go over to the desktop, and I'm looking for a folder called Paisley. There we go, Paisley, and I'm looking for Paisley V-carve. And that means that's the V-carve item that we have. And there's a picture of it, I can see that. And first thing we need to do is turn on the spindle. And tell the spindle to be, let's say, S for spindle, 8000, enter. Spindle should come on. And it did. Oh, hit reset. S8. S8000, enter. And what are we doing now? S8000, enter. There we go. You know, sometimes it's really funny because I actually kind of know what I'm doing now. So when something doesn't work like this, I'm kind of aware of it, even though I still haven't cut anything yet. So this is going to be the second thing that I've cut. You saw the Aztec calendar, and this will be the second thing that I've cut. And the part that I'm getting ready to cut, I'm going to cut this at regular speed. I'm not going to speed it up. I'm going to cut it at the 100% mark. And when I'm done with that, I just want to see how smooth I can get it, because the last time I cut something out, I speeded it up to, like, instead of about 150 inches per minute, I sped it up to like 217 inches per minute. So it was traveling twice as fast as I wanted it to spin. So I thought the cutter, I thought it was a little bit rough. So I'm going to see what happens if I slow it down a little bit and see if just wait it out and see how it goes. I'm going to give this a couple of minutes to warm up, and I'll come back when I'm ready with it. Running. I've got everything set up. All I have to do now is hit the start button, and we'll be ready to go. Here we go. And we're going to leave this at the 100% rate. Change the tool. It's wanting me to put in the cutter. I have it set up in the program to do that, to actually stop and change the tool. It's just kind of a safety thing. It's built into the code, and I kind of like it being there. It kind of gives me kind of confidence to know that I have it set right. The cutter's going to start up. It's going to wait until 10 seconds. The cutter's up to speed, and then it'll start. The code, I had the code set. I didn't notice. I have the code set in the code to only spin at 16,000 RPMs, and I need to change that in the code because it's slowed down. So now I have the spindle spinning at 24,000 RPMs. Also, I've noticed is that the dust collector is picking up all the dust because this cutter is not as long as the other one was. The other cutter was really, really long. So I need to make a riser this so that I don't have all the dust all over the table like last time. There won't be any dust on this one because this cutter is the right size. So we can get a better view. All right, that's the first tool path. And what we will do now is move the cutter. Actually, I really don't need to move the cutter. If I can get this off. Yep, I can't get it off, so we'll just raise it up a little bit. And then I'll change over to the profile cut, and that'll cut out the center circle, and that'll cut the whole board out so I can pull it out. We'll get to that in a second. Okay, now I've got the 1/4-inch cutter. We're going to put this in there now and cut out the last part. Okay, now that we've added the new cutter, we have to go back to the, oh boy, we got to tell the machine again where 0 is. We got to pull this back out, put it over here because 0 is here. And first thing we want to find out is just to double check. We have to make sure that the machine sees that, which is what we have to always do that, just to make sure. Okay, now that's centered, and we will tell it to auto pull 0. Hands on the emergency button in case. Okay, now it knows where 0 is. It knows where the top is. So we're cutting from the top. Now, the machine knows where it is, so I don't need to tell it to go where it belongs. It knows where it belongs. So now what I'll do is I'll load the last part of the G-code, which is the part that'll cut out the center hole, and then it'll cut around the whole outside edge. So we're going to go and close the G-code we have, load the new G-code, which is the drill and outside profile. This is not a very long, so let's see. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to not turn the spindle on and then run the cycle start, expecting it to tell me to turn the spindle on. So let's try that. I haven't done it yet. Hand on the emergency button just in case. Run cycle start. Change tool, click start. Spindle's going on. Spindle speed is set for 24,000 RPM. When it gets to the 10 seconds, it should scoot over and start working. drilling a hole. But first I want to do is I want to take this little brush here, brush all this dust, because all this dust is impacted. This is the cutter that I'm using is called an upcut, and what it does is it rips the dust upwards. But this MDF that we're using, it's probably 10 years old, so it's more like paper than wood. So it makes kind of a fuzzy edge. So I'm going to use this brush and clean out all of the grooves and stuff like that, and then run the vacuum on it before I remove it from the table. I'll do that right now. And I have a couple of little tabs in here. Most of them are broken. Well, actually it's pretty perfect. That's it. Okay, now, see what we have here. That's pretty cool. You know, one thing I want to do with this thing, I want to, probably going to, like polyurethane this or something. And see this center hole right here, what we're going to do is I'm going to drill a hole all the way through this with the same size. And then I'll be able to draw. I'll be able to take and go, okay, this is how big 20 by 20 is. There's the center. And that's all this was. It was just a template for that. But I might as well, you know, why not have it pretty? Why not? It could be something that I hang on the wall, and then whenever I need it, it's 20 by 20. That's the size of the filter. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get a nice close-up of that. Oh yeah. I went in 1/4 of an inch deep on this. That turned out pretty good. Oops, there's my all new. This is my second piece. So there we go. I've got, you can see the relief on this. And I did a pretty good job with this. I'm really, really happy with this. I'll show, you know, in the beginning, I'll show what the, this was just a black and white image. Just some black lines that turned into this. All right, there we go. My template.